All right, Rip. I think we're half-assed back to normal. Maybe are we on this camera right there?
I don't know, but I'm over here in the corner.
Yeah, get your butt over here. Look at that, man.
Oh,
I tell you what.
yeah, I got my Nick Wayne shirt on, and he's so over with me that I've had the same shirt on since last week. And I still got my Nick Wayne shirt on.
Man, I should be producer of the year after pulling this thing off right here. Now's the time you want to talk in the mic, Rip.
Okay, I'm going to talk loud and clear.
Perfect. And look how big your head looks today. I don't know. Are you sitting up or how's this? Camera? Do you think I moved the camera?
It's the camera angle because it looks like my head's real big. It looks like I'm Boris Zirkov, the human head. Of course, the human head in ICW was Johnny Wilhoit. The human head had the big old afro, and now he shaved his head. I think he's still sheriff at Versailles County, Kentucky. Johnny Wilhoit, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's cool. Hey,
Woodford County, but it was Versailles, Kentucky, in Woodford County, Kentucky.
You got a big announcement today, Rip. Where's the drum roll? Get that drum roll going.
Here, I'm Richard Starkey, Ringo Starr, the Beatles, drummer.
You know, most shows that have those little soundboards where you hit the button.
We don't have
like a real drum roll.
Yeah, well, we just.
There's our drum roll. Ow. Today, ladies and gentlemen, today at 11 o'clock a.m., it's not going to be live. It's going to be recorded. But today, we've got the legend himself, Rip. Gerald Briscoe, Coach Jerry Briscoe, going to be on our show. We're going to interview him today.
Hopefully, we'll have a lot of stories, and he can keep us laughing, and we can ask him some questions, and he can tell us some answers. We can hear about the big takeover of Vince McMahon, the evil Vince McMahon taking over WTBS studio, and all of a sudden, instead of Gordon Soley wrestling at 6:05, all of a sudden, there's Vincent Kennedy McMahon. All of a sudden, I remember watching the son of a bitch when I was working for Ron Fuller. In the after, we worked TV and we'd stay in the hotel and we'd watch 6:05 wrestling before we go down to the farm center in Dothan for every Saturday night wrestling. All of a sudden, there's the evil Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Oh yeah,
it was disgusting. I said, "Oh my God, the rest of business is dying."
Did you ever just try to get in with Vince at that time?
No. No, I was busy wrestling for Fuller every night.
Yeah, so we got Robert Briscoe. Jesus, I can't believe I just said that.
Robert Briscoe.
Robert Briscoe.
Well, that's who he was named after.
Robert Briscoe was?
Yes.
Was it really?
Yeah. That's not his real name's not Briscoe, but because years ago, if you was a Briscoe, you were already over.
I know, but Briscoe is a referee.
It doesn't matter. It'd be like calling somebody something Fargo, right? How many different Fargos? If the guys ain't got a name, well, if you're like in the Tennessee, Kentucky, well, make them a Fargo. Oh, okay, that's Fargo's cousin. All right. Just if you was a Fargo, you was over, and that's all that matters. You could be
over. Scoot back over here a little bit.
Over here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like your old chair. Get in there, Rip. So yeah, Jerry Briscoe is going to be on the show today. I posted on YouTube that if you had any questions you wanted us to ask him to tell us. So if you go to our post in YouTube, I think we only got like 8 or 9 people that commented. If you got any questions, it's going to be at 11. I still got time. I can go through some of those. Put that in our post on YouTube, and we'll try our best to get it asked to Coach Briscoe. Pretty excited about that today, Rip. Pretty pumped up.
Well, it's a big deal to have Coach Briscoe on there. Of course, I was on him and Bradshaw's show, and how was I? Well, fantastic. How the hell do you think I was going to be? That because Briscoe would start laughing, but JBL was always threatening to clothesline me electronically or whatever, since I wasn't right there because of my profanity. So I had to clean. He said. And Coach Briscoe said, Ripper, you're going to have to clean that mouth up or I'm going to stretch you. So I just shut the fuck up. And then I was just like a little nerd.
Clean your mouth up. And you said, shut the fuck up. Right after that.
Something like that. You know, I get carried away.
I watched that episode or that show or whatever it is.
That was the greatest
And that's
episode.
The one you did at your house. And you had the camera like on the table, the phone.
Oh, it kept slipping. Yeah.
JBL kept saying, "Can you move?"
You give me the thing.
And you didn't even use it. I gave you one of those right there.
I don't know how them things work. Get real.
You take this.
Ouch.
And you set your phone on it, and you just look at it, just like that.
Like that, huh?
Yeah,
Oh.
and then it doesn't slide down.
Well,
On the loaf
why
of bread or
didn't
whatever
you give me
use
some
all the time.
instructions?
Here's the thing Rip couldn't figure out was this nice thing I gave him to do that interview. Good thing when WSI came around with James, you just did it here in
Okay.
the professional, I guess it's called Lilas and Rogers studio.
Well,
now.
it's just Lila Studios.
Good thing you did it here, though. That was
Well, I thought I'd get gimmick infringement or something if I just said, what the hell, right? You just told me to kill time, so I was killing time. I was just trying to fix the computer. You're trying to fix
I'm
it.
talking about your interview with Briscoe. I'm not talking about it today.
Okay.
So I was on the Monday morning locker room, Rip, with the vet, Opinion Haver, and
Now, what time was that?
Monday morning.
Okay. Well, what time was you on?
I think it was like 8:30.
So hell, that was 5:30. So the vet was up at 5:30 in the morning, and
I
he's
think
in
so, yeah.
California,
Yeah,
right?
he was on there, baby. Yep.
What the hell was he doing?
Well, he was the first one in our chat today, Rip. First one right there.
And he's been a member
look
for
at that.
11 months.
Opinion Haver, 11-month member today, baby. In green for
His
11 months.
anniversary. It don't
Throw
get any
that-
better
throw
than
that
that.
up there. Look at that. He's been a member of this channel for 11 months now, supporting Wrestling with Rip Rogers. Thanks, man. And he's listening at work with 40 million people right now. That is awesome.
He what?
He's listening at work with 40 million of his friends.
Wow, that's a lot of friends. Well, you know he is from California.
From California. He knows everybody
You know,
there,
everybody in California.
including the guy that used to do our show that quit.
How long did he last? A week? Well, you made him work, didn't you?
Well, he made the big comeback. Like he kind of quit,
Uh-huh.
and then he made the big comeback,
Uh-huh.
and then I actually paid him, and then he just quit right after I paid him.
Well, you either paid him maybe was you like Dale Mann? You just give him a little bit of ginger there, and he said, well, hell. And I said, Dale Mann would say, well, hell, don't spurl him. You might have spurled him, and then he thought he was big time.
He
then.
got that $20, man. He was like, "That's I've made
Damn.
it. I'm done. I'm retiring. I've made it." Look
Damn.
at SM White II. I tell you what, SM White II
He's on fire,
is
baby.
one of the biggest. Could be a she. It's SM. Don't know. He or she.
He could
Are
be.
you here?
Wait a minute.
No, don't get into all that stuff.
Wait,
I know you will get it. I know exactly what you were going to say. That will get us canceled.
Wait a minute.
No,
Well, but what if he? Never mind.
no. SM White II, we really appreciate it. I'll tell you what, SM White has been on every video I post, gets on there, comments, likes, smashes, subscribes, member, super chat, whatever, you name it. SM White does it, and we are very, very appreciative. Isn't that right, Rip?
Well, I'm looking at the board right here, and somebody snuck in the chat room right here trying to get over, but he don't have no green by his name. He's never sent any money. So let's just say he's from Southern Indiana. Let's just say he's sort of a legend in Seymour, Indiana.
I couldn't say that.
I should sort of say that. And then all of a sudden he was so hungry for being on a diet and losing all this weight.
He broke. I saw
He
that, yeah.
broke and ate all this food.
Yeah.
He probably cut the hot dogs off his neck and was
Eating
Frying
those.
him.
I bet he was eating those.
he's probably putting himself over for having dated a governor's daughter. He's probably putting himself over for being with some girl, but her first initial was, let's say it is between A, B, C, R.
Between R, so it's R.
Yeah. So it's
Manny the
R.
Weasel Valverde's in
Oh.
the house. Whatever you do, don't put over Manny the Weasel, the greatest poker player,
Ah.
athlete in the country. Country? Are you talking about Jackson County? I mean,
Well, he's probably spelling county, but he said
He
he's
spelled it
saying
wrong.
country.
He missed
He don't play in Seymour. He's always going down to Scottsburg, down to Redneckville, where he can be the king, Manny the Weasel Valverde, and get all those.
So how old would he be? He just had his
Man.
big reunion, so he's probably, what is he?
45.
60?
He's
Probably
prob-
60-ish.
Yeah.
So he's the greatest 60-year-old Mexican athlete in Seymour. How about that?
Well, he's the first guy seen of the Seymour Punks doing the snow bunny thing.
Leader of the Seymour Punk.
Oh, and the free world.
All right, that's enough. Hey, how's that podcast coming along, Weasel? You got the
Weasel
intro?
cast.
The Weasel
music.
You got the intro music?
No,
yet?
because what's happening? We've been sending off the people, what the copyright people or whatever. And if Manny the Weasel Valverde tries to get the Weasel cast going, we want it squashed.
We're dinging it.
Yeah, we're dinging that some bitch.
All right, we got a question from Daniel Hahn. These are old, so I gotta get caught up here in the chat.
How about Young?
Daniel Hahn says, who did you prefer to wrestle, Lanny or Randy?
Well, I was a heel, Randy, and Lanny was a babyface, so we probably we wrestled him about 300 times. The only time I wrestled Randy was when I was the inevitable Hercules Samard.
Oh, really?
When in the Maritimes, and he was married to me, so I learned from him like 40 minutes a night. Called on the fly. Wasn't like it was scripted or nothing then. And then I worked with him a couple times for Nick Goulas when I was a good guy. Then I'd put him over. Then we were became tag team partners.
For Goulas?
Yes.
Oh, really? I didn't know you. I know you'd mentioned the Maritimes. I didn't know that you had done so much with him outside of ICW. Like, how long do you think you were at the Maritimes together?
About 4 months.
Oh, really?
4 or 5 months, whatever it was. See, at the
God,
time,
is there any footage of that anywhere? I've never seen, I don't think, him wrestling at the Maritimes.
not
on your tapes either.
No, I didn't have a tape player or whatever, and I wasn't smart enough to do it. Didn't know how to do it or whatever.
So what do I have tapes of? Stampede? I got some.
Oh, we got some maritime stuff. And
I have some.
Yeah, I think so, but I don't know if it's on that tape.
I haven't seen Savage there.
Well, that was just 1978.
Oh,
The summer of 1978.
was it really?
Yeah.
Holy cow. No, I don't have anything that old in there, I don't think. Wow, that's awesome. I didn't know that. So who would you prefer to wrestle? Did you have more fun with Lanny or Randy? Do you remember both?
Well, if I was with Lanny, I led everything.
Yeah.
And even though he was older in the business, he was a second generation, he never opened his mouth at all during the matches. He just did it. If the match was good, it was on me. If it was bad, it was on me. But with me being forced to learn to call it, the matches were always good. No, I mean, you learn so much.
Yeah.
And especially if I'd worked with you 300 times, we could have every kind of match there was, and you'd pretty much know what I was going to call because you could feel match A through Z, which one we're doing in my head, and you'd pretty know it. You'd know it. It'd be like if I was catching and calling your game and you're on the mound, and you would know what I'm going to do, but all you're doing is agreeing with it. Yeah, so we don't get crossed up and have a pass ball.
So I could be wrong in this, but I feel like when WWE guys start to, let's say they start having a feud. So, on Monday night, they're going to have a big match. Right. I feel like at the house shows, they wrestle each other and probably do a similar match or maybe test out a couple things to get ready for maybe that Monday night match. When you would wrestle, you just said A through Z. So you would try to have different matches, even if you're in a whole different town. You wouldn't just say, hey, let's just do the same match we did last night. You would do.
He just do whatever I wanted.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You leading it though.
Yeah.
You never just said, "Hey, let's just do what we did last night."
Yeah. He never. No.
You would
just, as a baby face,
something new.
As a baby face, he knew just to listen to me. And
I'm talking about you though. Would you think, "Hey, let's just do what we did last night," or
no,
you would just call something new?
No, never in my life did I have a copycat match.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
No,
I'm talking about Lanny. I'm talking about you.
Yeah, if you could pull stuff off, no matter who we get dinged with, whatever. My matches are never the same, but they half-ass make sense.
Except for jumping off that turnbuckle onto the floor, man. You were determined to hit that in WCW. You wanted to hit that thing bad, man, and it just never seemed to happen on those reaction videos.
No, because I wanted to do. You wanted to give them the threat of it.
The threat of it. I mean,
yeah. Well, see, when I'd work a house show, I never hit it.
You never really hit it on TV either.
Well, at least I give him the threat of it, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, he might do something. If I would have been a star, I'd have just hit him with it, boom, and then killed him, and that'd been the finish.
Speaking of Lanny and Randy, though, I just posted last night. Last night, Rip, it hadn't got very many views yet. I posted right during Thursday Night Football, the debut of the NFL, so that might have been a bad thing. I don't know. But I posted the steel cage match, the Eye of the Tiger match, the hair versus hair match, Rip Rogers, Leaping Lanny Poffo, ICW. That was Rep Arena, right? Is that Rep Arena?
Yeah, it was Rep Arena.
Rep Arena. It's on the channel right now. It's about a 23-minute long match. Lanny does kind of like the over commentary after the match, whatever. but it's on there. So you guys need to go make sure you check it out. Let that thing play through. Like it, smash it, comment on it. I put all the pre-videos, all the hype, all the interviews, the Eye of the Tiger, weightlifting, all that kind of stuff leading up to the match. Now I finally got the match on there. Have you watched it yet, Rip?
Yeah, I watched it last night.
Nice.
Uh-huh.
So now we need all these people to go watch.
I think it was like 26. I think it was like a 26-minute segment.
It started not right at the beginning, I think.
Right.
But that's how it was on the tape.
Because I remember he slapped him in the face to start the match out, and it wasn't on there. So
now, with that being said, did you notice what was not involved in that clip that I put on there?
No,
you didn't.
No.
What happened?
What
happened after the match?
Well, that I got my head shaved.
Right. Was it on there?
No.
Guess what?
You teased it.
It's coming though. It's
Good.
coming.
Well, it's about time you do something around Lilas and Roger's studio. I mean, Lila's studio.
I don't like this Rogers studio thing. I mean, you got your name on everything. Your name's on the YouTube channel. Your name's on the banner.
It says "Ask Rip Rogers Live."
I took
live.
I took every Lila studio off everything. We can at least still refer to it as
okay
Lila Studios, can't we? I mean, can I at least have that? All right, cool. So yeah, it's coming though. Rip gets his head shaved. I've got it on tape, and it will be on the channel. I don't know if I want to put it on during the weekend. I feel like our views are a little lower on the weekend. I might save it for Monday, but rest assured, Rip's bald head is going to be on our channel.
Well, here's what happened. We were going into Rupp Arena for the first time because basically Jarrett they could have wrestling in there. Basically, Jarrett had the contract where we couldn't get in. So that's when we had to get a little bit of political stuff since we actually lived in Lexington, worked all those different shows. We worked at Henry Clay High School and all the high schools within the Lexington area for years and years. And we finally got a date into Rupp Arena. But because Jarrett ran, that was probably their best town because they only ran it once a month. They ran it once a month when of course they did great in Memphis. But when they were over big time in Lexington, and they grew great crowds there. And when Randy wrestled Lawler in Rupp for the first time, that was the most people up to that time that they'd ever had in the building for pro wrestling was Randy versus Lawler.
I mean, it's a big arena, right? In Rupp Arena.
Yeah, but what you would do, you would rent like the setup that held like 8,500 people.
Oh, really?
You didn't rent that's what I was talking about earlier when we was BSing before the show starter was on, and we just BSing anyway about the Cook Convention Center about you could rent this much for this many thousands or $1,000 more. You'd pay all this. Oh, we need this much. No, always rent the small arena, and then if you're doing capacity business, then go to bigger. That's like years ago when I was a kid growing up, Jarrett would run, or it was Nick Gulish wrestling then, and they would have wrestling every Tuesday night at the Louisville Gardens. But then they'd shoot a big angle and they'd go to Freedom Hall, which seated 20,000 people because they needed a bigger building.
Yeah. Heavy D's in the house. He's in green. So we're going to get to some of these green people's questions since they are members of the show here and we're behind. Did you ever get to work with Pampero Firpo? I think didn't you discuss that? I think, didn't you? I heard the family based a lot of his Macho Man character on him. Well, maybe we didn't talk about it. I can't remember.
Well,
about him or not.
When I was teaching school in Union City, Indiana in 1976, I could watch wrestling from Dayton, Ohio, and Cincinnati, if I got the antenna going right. And Pampero Firpo was working for the Sheik. And Randy worked for the Sheik. Angelo worked for the Sheik. Randy worked for the Sheik. I worked for the Sheik. So, but Randy got his from Pampero Firpo. And Firpo ended up retiring from the post office, and he just died, I think, about a year ago. And his daughter, she listens to this show some, and she gets on here really? Sometime. Yeah, and she'll make comments and stuff like that. So the great Pampero Firpo, when you think of Randy Savage, and go, oh yeah, he's mimicking, paying homage to the great Pampero Firpo.
So he actually did that.
Yes,
that was his thing.
That was his thing. Yeah, he was they called him the wild bull of the Pampas.
I might have missed, maybe you said this already and I missed it. I was writing down our marks here. Did where did you say where was he from and where was this at?
He was from Argentina, I think.
Oh, really?
And
But,
then I think he moved out to San Francisco. He was a big star on the West Coast 2 years ago.
but you were all working for the Sheik in Detroit at this time, or where?
Yeah, I
was,
worked for the Sheik in Detroit.
so he came to Detroit.
No. He was
No.
there for years and years, was what he was.
Pampero.
Yes, Pampero Firpo was. And then what happened was Randy would be playing minor league baseball. Then when he would get off, he could be like Randy Poffo, or he'd work under the hood, wear a mask or
He was
whatever.
the Spider or something.
Yeah,
wasn't he?
yeah, he was Spider-Man or Spider. Yeah, the
Spider,
Spider.
right.
Yeah, he weighed about 175 pounds, skinny as a rail, great leader in the ring, very quick, athletic, but had to get fired from baseball before he became a star.
I don't know this person. Did you ever meet Mike McGurk?
Mike
Mc-
McGurk. Oh,
McGurk?
that's Leroy McGurk he was the blind promoter that used to run Oklahoma, Tulsa, and that's where Bill Watt was always his booker. And they say Bill stole the territory from a blind man all the time because he couldn't see what he was doing. But Izzy Slapowitz was always telling stories about Leroy McGurk, how they would rib him and they would change the furniture in the office there. They'd walk in and all of a sudden he'd run into a chair because it wasn't supposed to be there. And that was a hell of a rib, wasn't it? So they was always ribbing Leroy, the blind promoter.
Wow.
And he said, he goes, I'm watching you guys out there. That sort of sounded like Elton Owen, but when Izzy Slapowitz would talk about him, that's the way he talked. So I just do the same thing.
New story. Warrior G-Man in the house. He's green. Haven't seen Warrior G-Man in a while. He's got the Ultimate Warrior face as his thing there. Is it true Boris got in a head-on collision with a ram and the ram lost? Anything? You know anything about that story, Rick?
Boris.
I don't know if he's talking about who'd you said you had a head the size of
Are
Boris.
you talking about Boris Zirkov?
Probably, isn't that who you said a little bit ago?
Buffalo Head.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Buffalo Head. I think he always had the biggest head in pro wrestling.
Did you ever hear that he went head to head with a ram?
No, I never heard that one, but sounds good.
BSK said you were growing back the beard, Rip. You growing back the beard?
I just haven't shaved in 2 days.
That's 2 days, huh? Wow.
Yeah.
I got some beard dye. I just did mine today. I got some beard dye. You want to get
No,
that done
no, I
before
wanna,
the?
no, I want to shave.
We can do that before the Briscoe interview. You want to do that?
Oh no, I just want to be as disgusting as possible. Like I just woke up.
Come on, we can get the dark beard back today. God,
Beard.
that's awesome. Let's get the dark beard back today. I'll find some kind of headband.
Just get
you
a
can-
magic marker.
you can
and
put
just,
on-
and just color it in there. That'd be
We'll get
cool.
rid of the glasses today.
Here.
We're getting you.
No, I can't see anyway.
We're getting you.
Gotta look exactly like Andy Warhol. This is awesome. This is fucking awesome. Oh, I always like the guy that's always getting on me that how would I teach anybody how to draw money?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a guy's just a total fucking goof. Thanks because he reads the dirt sheets. He knows what the fuck's about fucking wrestling. Well, you're not a main. How could you teach anybody? God damn, you are so fucking stupid.
I love when people get on our channel and rip on us, and then I go back at them, and then other people are like, "I can't believe you talk to your fans that way." I'm like, "They're not my fans. I don't give a shit.
No, they're just trying to-
Unsubscribe. I don't care."
Yeah, they're just trying to
don't
fucking get
care.
over. They're just wanting to be somebody because they're probably sleeping in mom's goddamn fucking basement. Don't know fuck all, acting like they're goddamn over. Know a few terms so they think it's all them. They're fucking not. Get real, you fucking geek.
AT, all them. Speaking of Rip, let's see where we're at today.
Dry man,
Drum roll.
where we at?
6,371 subscribers.
6,370. Well, next would be
Pretty good.
6,400, I guess. Hopefully.
Well, next would be 3,000 or 6,372.
Well, we'll
would be
probably
next.
lose a bunch when I start insulting people
Probably.
that are stupid.
Yeah, your Eye of the Tiger match only has 157 views. We got to get that up. Go watch the Eye of the Tiger match as soon as we're done here.
No, it says 2,753. That's what it said.
No, it didn't.
Huh?
Not for the Eye of the
Put
Tiger.
yourself over, you geek.
Well, they can go look. It shows them.
Well, that was just a mistake. What the hell? You just put it on anyway. What
P.
the
Nest
hell?
in the house from Hawaii. We got a
Hawaii?
Hawaii-
What now? P. Nest. Aloha from Hawaii. Well, hell, we're over in the 50th state now.
You guys are telling me what to ask Briscoe. I'm not going to go back through this chat and read them. So you got to go on YouTube where I posted. We do post where I ask there. I'm gonna be going to that post on YouTube and getting the questions from there. I'm not going back through this live chat. Vet doesn't sleep. Vet's a night owl, he says. Yeah, we're way behind on here. There's T Weasel. He's 63. Michael Costello's here. He's not been around for a long time, I don't feel. Welcome, Michael. He's in green still, Rip.
All right. Well, he's over then.
He's been in green. He's one of our longest members. Did you ever meet Miss Elizabeth, Rip?
Yeah, she was when I knew her, she was a girl that worked at Sente Sports Center in Lexington. Randy wasn't seeing her. She was probably at least 20 pounds heavier. And I just thought of her as the girl that was sort of heavy that worked that took the keys at the gym.
Now, surely she wasn't heavy. Heavy?
Well, I mean, she was thin when she was with Randy. Randy probably put her on a diet, said, no, you can't eat this, you can't eat that, you got to train, you got to work out, whatever. But she lost. Yeah, she was a little bit heavy.
So you met her, she was working at the gym, like
Yeah.
at the front desk?
Yeah, exactly. Front desk at
Really?
the Sente Sports Center in Lexington, Kentucky.
Was she from Lexington? Do you know?
No, she was from Frankfurt.
And just moved to Lexington?
Well, I guess so. It's only like 21 miles down the interstate or whatever.
So then Randy started like seeing her while she was at the gym? Is that how that went,
he
do you know?
started seeing her after I left.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So she was never, was she ever on ICW TV?
Yeah, she was as an announcer sort of.
But not while you were there?
No. She come in afterwards.
So there's a girl that is like a ring girl in a lot of those tapes I have, and people have asked, is that Elizabeth?
No, that was
So that was never Elizabeth on
no.
those?
That was God. I can see her. It was her and her daughter. She would come to the matches. You know, they were a couple rats, but whatever.
So she went from basically being a normal girl that
Yes.
worked at the gym to WrestleMania or whatever. they were on.
That's right.
Holy shit.
And then when she worked at the gym, and then she was just always real shy, didn't say a word, sort of meek.
I mean, I still remember her like when they were holding her up on their shoulders with the princess crown on,
Right.
and the dress. You think she ever thought, holy shit, I can't believe I used to work at the gym in Lexington, and now I'm I don't know.
She probably just going with the flow.
I mean, I
going-
could see it if somebody was actually trying to get into the wrestling business,
Right.
but she was
No, I can see
Yeah.
she was a girl that wouldn't try to get into wrestling business. She just fell in love with Randy, and then Randy was saying, "Hey, we can get another payday." And what it was he goes, "I don't have to go on the road. We can be together all the time, and you can see all this stuff and get paid and have your own legacy or whatever." So Randy opened up the doors for her.
It's wild. Italian or whatever it is. I was watching the cage match last night, but got distracted by my microwaved lotion. Your old friend Libra, whatever his name is,
Yeah.
was on making comments about you and Lanny, and making comments about when when Orndorff sat on your face to
Yeah.
to give you cover. He was getting real excited about a lot of that stuff.
Well, he gets excited easily, you know.
Yeah.
And then there was Weez in the ring, two hot guys.
Yeah.
And then I imagine his tongue was hard. What the hell, right? He couldn't help it. Two hot guys in there. John Tucker, look right there.
Oh, thanks, John
September's
Tucker.
birthday month. Any stories around birthday? What? Boom.
John Tucker, thanks for the donation today. Rip could get some Taco Bell today, maybe, or something. You get one of those taco boxes or whatever you get. What are those things, Rip?
The $5 box.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Well, I would get the I would get the $5 box, but you know, they always have circumstances, so there's no $5 box today.
There's not.
No, you got to have $5 to get the
Oh, well, you just got $5 right there. John Tucker just gave it to you.
Oh, okay.
September is my birthday month. Any stories around birthdays or September memories? Shit, I don't know.
Well, my son Marcus's birthday, September 23rd.
There you
so
go.
It don't get any better
Hey,
than
my
that.
mom's birthday's in September.
Now, how old's your mom? Wait a minute, let me
And
see.
my sister's birthday's in September.
Oh,
How
golly.
about that?
What about Aunt Carol's birthday?
I don't know.
Huh? Oh, you don't know your Aunt Carol's birthday?
Well, hell no.
Well,
You know all your aunt's birthdays?
they're all dead.
Okay. Do you know what they were when they were alive?
No.
Okay. So what the hell's the difference?
Yeah, but you're like normal.
I don't know. I think my sister, I don't know my mom's birthday. September. I never remember. My wife always tells me.
Oh, God.
It's either like the 24th or 26th. Hope you're not watching this, Mom. And then I bet she watches it though. They watch all our shows.
Uh-huh.
And then my sister's, I think, is the 18th. I think she'll be 53.
No, she won't. She's
Yeah.
still 19. She's
53?
like Lupe. She's still 19.
19, still the leading scorer in Butler, Butler
University history.
That's right.
Don't
Hey,
get any better than that.
thanks, John Tucker. Appreciate that.
God, the best was going to her games and the King dropping me off there and me sneaking away at halftime and go and visit this one college co-ed.
You were like 40. How old were you?
God, I don't know. This was when was Julie?
She would have been there from like 89 to 92.
Oh, this is like 90. So
Well, how old were you in 90? I was 17. So
no,
you're like 37.
I was 36.
30.
Prime of life.
Prime of life.
Prime of life, baby. Hell. But I only looked 35 instead of 36.
Any Ron Wright or Jim Cornette stories come to mind from your time at Smoky Mountain? I've been watching it from the start recently, and yourself, Jimmy Golden, Ron Wright, Orndorff. Hey, where you been watching that? Is that on the WWE Network? Because I think they bought the tape. So, Richie, if you can tell me where you've been watching those, I'd really appreciate it. Any Ron Wright stories?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I remember.
I don't even know Ron Wright. I don't think.
I remember Ron Wright and Donnie Wright. They were like the legends of the Smoky Mountain area.
The Wright brothers.
Yeah, and yeah, different set of Wright brothers. And then we were wrestling in Knoxville for All Star Wrestling. That was the group that went opposition to Ron Fuller, and it was Malenko and Bob Roop and Ronnie Garvin and Bob Orton Jr., Tony Peters, etc. You got women calling you, men calling
No,
you, or
just tell the
young
story,
boys, or
man.
whatever.
Tell
Anyway,
the story.
and Ron Wright was there, and I'm sitting next to him. We're watching the show, and his brother Donnie was wrestling Hoot Gibson, and they had a boxing match there, or whatever. And I'm just fucking laughing. And Ron Wright goes, "Well, hell, there ain't gonna be no violence in that match tonight. You can tell that." It was great. But anyway, Ron Wright was the original heat getter of the Smoky Mountain area. And the fans hated it. He used to fly his plane to different places.
So he was a Wright brother.
Yeah, he was a
He
Wright
did
gooder.
open the door,
Right. And they waited for him to park his plane or wherever it was at wherever the local airport, and they put his plane on fire. They burned his plane. The Marks did, because they hated him so much. Now that's heat.
That is heat.
That is
literally
heat.
heat. They burned.
That is heat. And then when he was working, I think it was Smoky Mountain, was when he was always in the wheelchair as a manager. And when he finally got up and did something, you talk about wow.
Oh,
Oh yeah. Then he sat back down like he was crippled. Only Ron Wright. Unbelievable.
Chris Punks with an X. Any interaction with Wild Bull Curry?
No, I just grew up watching him as a kid off the Cincinnati station, and Lanny Poffo was always imitating him, going, selling his ear, wah, like Bulldog Bob Brown would do. But you'd kick him in the leg, Bull Curry would sell his ear no matter what. And he had the great.
For what reason? Any reason?
Hell, I don't know. I don't know why Bulldog Brown did it. I guess because he's seen Bull Curry do it. That's what everybody does. They copy something from somebody else 30 years ago or whatever. But he had the hairiest body, like Dutch Mantel. Yeah. And he had the great eyebrows, were so thick. And I think he dyed them black all the time. But he was a legend, Bull Curry. And he was a guy that was hardcore before there was hardcore. And he was always kicking you in the balls and punching you and biting you and getting color.
All right, Rip, we got to get to it. We got to get to this. We haven't talked to it. Everybody else has talked about it. It's been all over the internet. It happened pretty closely after our last show. The firing of CM Punk, Rip. We have not discussed at all the actual firing of CM Punk. You knew he got fired, right?
Yeah, this is sort of like old news. I think they've.
Yeah, well,
but anyway,
we're going to cover it anyway.
Well, the whole thing is Tony basically had his main man, his main star was CM Punk. And because what's his face, Jungle Boy, he did some things. He's a rookie. He's a greenhorn. He ain't had very many matches. he's not any good. 10 years from now, he may be great, but right now he's not. He's overstepping his bound because in AEW, and this is just my opinion, because been there, done that. When they first started, I said, Tony loves wrestling. He's going to be doing everything to do what he loves to do, but he don't have the experience. And the people he had as EVP or what you needed guys like Tully Blanchard in there. You needed a guy like Arn Anderson, guys that have been in the business, worked in offices, know what the hell's going on to fucking over. All he's got to do is hire Cornette and just do what Cornette says.
Thing is, he had those guys in there and didn't use them in that role. He just put them on TV as like managers or whatever.
Well, you're right.
He didn't use them. Like,
you're right.
He had Tully and Arn. So,
well, it's Tony's company. He can do what he wants to, and he can pay everybody and lose $1 billion or whatever. And if he's got it, what the hell? And he's having a good time.
So supposedly there was more to the story. Supposedly, Tony Khan said he feared for his life, and that nobody at work, him or anybody else included that works for AEW, should be scared for their life at work. So then that's why he fired him. So, any thoughts on that? Do you think it was? I mean, I think today, like, if people look at you wrong, you think you're fearing your life sometimes. So, I mean, do you think that more's going to come out? Do you think Punk should have been fired? Any other thoughts on Punk actually being fired?
It's Tony's company. He can do what he wants, because I'm sure he's paying Punk for quitting or firing or whatever. He's got to pay him. I guess he's got to pay him the money.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Who cares? And then I just saw where the coach got fired.
We're gonna get to that. Can you not talk about?
Well, I didn't know that.
Punk a little bit,
huh?
Try to get a Punk segment here so we can get.
Well, the phone's ringing at least. But anyway, Punk was the big star of AEW, and what's Tony do? He fires him. And then you got Jungle Boy, which is, if it's a work or he was supposed to do it or whatever, stirring shit, doing stuff he shouldn't do. And people kayfabing each other on the side, working their own angles, trying to get themselves over. AEW does stuff that was never done before in other territories. It's groundbreaking. They do their own thing. And Tony's the boss. You answer to Tony. Well, what's pretty simple, though, Tony. Well, what do you want to do in your match? Go ahead and do it. So anyway.
My personal opinion is that it was sabotage from the beginning. I don't think the EVPs wanted him there. I think they have poked the bear over and over and over again, the bear being CM Punk. And then Punk, instead of like Ben Hameen said on the show Monday morning, instead of him just not putting any of it over, he always reacts. Like Punk doesn't like people doing that to him, so he overreacts or reacts. I shouldn't necessarily say overreact. I don't know the whole entire story of what happened, but yeah, I'm not sure they want him there. I'm not sure at the end of the day Punk wants to be there, and I think kind of everybody got what they wanted, except for maybe Tony. Now that he fired him, what about firing him right before Chicago? Would you have let him go ahead and done the pay-per-view and the TV? I mean, he lost, what did it say, 20% of his viewership on the TV show after he announced Punk got fired.
Well, I don't think Tony gives a shit about that. It's like, oh, yeah, it'd be easier. Oh, let him work the 2 shows and everybody's happy and then fire him.
Yeah.
You could have a special executive meeting of the EVPs or whatever, and then decided that Punk's fired.
Oh, speaking of that, they have a discipline committee. Did you see that?
Tony
said he met with his discipline committee.
Oh my God! Is that now who is that?
I don't know.
Kenny Omega and the Buckaroos.
Probably he met with his discipline committee before firing CM Punk. Now, I have not really defended or thrown Punk under the bus. I think that, like I said already, I said what I think about it. But the one thing I have heard, now this is just rumor, this is in the dirt sheets, that I would not agree with CM Punk on. Supposedly, when he got there and William Regal was working there, he refused to shake Regal's hand and said he was a Triple H stooge. So if that's true, I think that's wrong. I think that's how you're comparing Jungle Boy to Punk.
Mm-hmm.
I would then compare Punk to Regal saying, "Hey, Regal's been there, done that.
Mm-hmm.
He's older than you. He's
Yeah.
the vet. You should respect William Regal." Would be my
Well, anything I hear on the internet or read on the internet, I take it with a grain of salt.
true. Yeah.
Because people just stir shit just to stir shit. Marks get on in here and ask stupid questions
On
because,
here, not on here.
huh?
Oh, I thought you
On the internet.
Oh, I thought you
Not
said
on
Mark,
my
I thought
show.
you said Mark,
No.
get on here and ask stupid questions.
No, no. I mean, if we see a stupid question, we usually just don't answer it
Yeah,
because it's a stupid question.
Yeah.
Or
or they're not in green.
yeah, the main thing is to be in green, like John Tucker.
Okay, so you were getting into Ace Steel. Then they announced, was that yesterday? He got fired. So that's got to be just because he's a punk guy, right?
Right. It'd have to be. So hey, maybe we can have him on the show now.
Yeah, let's get Ace Steel. We'll have him
Get
as
Ace Steel, yeah.
his exclusive first interview after getting fired. Be on here. I mean, he would have had to known that once Punk got fired, he was probably next to go, I would think.
Yeah, he getting that free money anyway. Anybody that works for Tony, it's free money, baby.
So
living the dream.
So what about now, Punk? Do you think WWE takes him back after all this? Do they say, "Hey, let's make some money"?
I sure as hell would.
You would?
Of course. Anytime you fucking throw CM Punk's name out there, goddamn, that lights the goddamn fire right there. Well, shit, I'm gonna watch just the goddamn watch to see what happens. Maybe Punk will go off in a real fight against Roman Reigns or whoever he's supposed to be with. I can't wait to watch this shit.
Don't you think it's pretty wild, though, that a guy that just basically keeps bucking the system, or at least perceives to be bucking the system, then he's the one that keeps getting, let's just say, opportunities, getting paid the most money, gets the most views and all that kind of stuff.
Hey,
and people just keep taking him back. And
in almost every job I've ever heard about, squeaky wheel gets the goddamn grease. You know, I mean, if you're Mr. Nice Guy doing what you're supposed to do, everybody shits on you. All of a sudden, you get a guy that's a goddamn asshole. We got to do this. This guy wants this and that and this and that. Well, hell, just sign him.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
He's going to raise the company. He's going to raise the viewership. He's going to make our company look big time. If they know you're a big time star or a big time troublemaker or whatever, it's all a rib anyway. The whole thing is, there ain't no bad news in wrestling. Just spell my goddamn name right.
I've seen it spelled with a D.
I know. That's been my next thing. When you already beat me to it. What the fuck?
All right, Ace Steel, if you happen to be watching this show,
come on, Ace, give me a ring, baby.
Shoot us a message and we'll get you on here.
Yeah.
BSK says, Rip, did you ever work on Christmas? If so, did you get paid extra?
Okay, here's the gimmick. Now this is between old school wrestling. Christmas used to Christmas night and Thanksgiving night were the biggest days in pro wrestling for years. We always had a double show on Christmas and Thanksgiving. You'd have an afternoon show. Would be like if I was working for Fuller, we'd be like in Birmingham in the afternoon, and then we would be in Dothan that night, or we'd be in Knoxville that afternoon. I remember for Ole, we'd do like a Columbus, Georgia in the afternoon and an Omni that night. But you got 2 paydays. Everybody wanted to go to the best Christmas presents was going down there underneath that Christmas tree, and there's wrestling tickets. Holy shit. And then some of the fans, they'd be making both the shots just like the boys. They'd be in Columbus, Georgia, then they'd drive the 2 hours to Atlanta, and they'd be at both, and they'd make sure they seen you. And you'd be going, damn, this son of a bitch is here for both goddamn shows. What great fucking wrestling fans. But that was all double. You love double fucking shots.
But did you get paid double?
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean, not for each. I mean, for each shot, did you get paid double? Was there like overtime?
Oh, hell, there ain't no goddamn
because
overtime.
It was a holiday.
Oh,
did
fuck
you get,
that. Oh,
you didn't get a holiday.
No,
pay.
you wanted to work on holidays because you knew on holidays was always going to be great.
Big house.
Oh, hell yeah. Thanksgiving night or Thanksgiving afternoon, and then because you had to get 2 of them in there because then that'd make your goddamn week. Hell yeah. You'd have that goddamn calendar circled and you love that.
We got to get this show wrapped up. I got to get some prep work done for Briscoe. I have no questions ready today. So
I got no answers. So
we
what
got,
the hell, right?
Warrior G Man, he's in green. So we'll get to his question. Richie, first of all, says, thanks for asking these questions or answering these questions. He's from the UK, man. We are worldwide, Rip.
Oh, it don't get any better than this.
We got people everywhere.
UK.
Have you ever seen any other promoters scared for their life?
No. No. Can I answer that any faster? No. Only Tony.
So Bill Watts was never scared, huh?
Oh my God. All the boys were scared of Bill Watts.
Right.
All the boys were scared of Ole. Ole just grabbed you and start fucking with you. And if you didn't fight back like a bastard, he's pussy, you know.
Last question of the day, John Tucker in green. Did you ever work with Tessa Blanchard? And do you think there's a place in wrestling for her today? I'd love to see her back. I also like to see her wrestle again. I don't really know the whole Tessa Blanchard story. I think there was some like comments she said, maybe like putting down either race or sex or something. I can't remember, but I think she looks good and a good wrestler.
Here's a gimmick. She's third generation wrestler to begin with.
Yeah.
She was trained by George South, who's one of the best trainers of pro wrestling there is. She understands the business. All this stuff, whatever she says, really don't matter to me. But I think it's 1970s. Anybody, if you can relive your life, has said something stupid, has said something, has thought something you're not supposed to say, and they should be canceled. Well, fuck you. Fuck all you motherfuckers in your own fucking life. Live and fucking let live. She's one of the greatest wrestling talents in this world today, and she can't get a goddamn job. While WWE and all the other countries are hiring girls that ain't worth a goddamn shit compared to Tessa Blanchard. There's only one Tessa Blanchard. And because she said something how many fucking years ago, I don't give a fucking rat's ass. And I'm a wop. I'm an Italian. Call me whatever. Call me a lard ass. Call me some of the names you're not allowed to say. Like I give a rat's ass. In one ear, out the other. But if
so she should get a second chance.
She should get a second chance, third chance, whatever. Hey, anybody that's any good is out there a little bit. And they got that special intensity, and they're special. Oh, fuck. All right.
All right. We got to get going here, Rip. We got to get going. Thanks, everybody, getting on bright and early today.
Bright and early. It don't get any better than this.
Staying with us through our technical.
Hey, we're live.
Of course we're live.
Well, I was reading it right there, but it says Ask Rip Rogers live. Live. Okay.
Our technical difficulties we had this morning. Since it is Roger's studio now, we're going to blame all that on
No,
him.
it's Lila's studio.
No, it's Roger's studio. That's why.
Okay, well, we'll just start
calling
it
20 minutes late.
Wait a minute. How was we 20 minutes late? I stood out your parking lot for 20-some minutes before I told you I'm here.
The computer thing.
The computer
thing. I was in the shower. I said get here at 8:45. I'm taking a shower at 8:30.
I was here at like 8:20.
I was in the shower.
I was here at 8:20.
Jump out of the shower at 8:20?
No, I know
you're supposed to be here at 8:45.
I know you're probably doing it with your
That's
hot
it.
wife.
Have a good weekend.